What's up, everyone? My name is Luis Felipe Teixeira, and I'm here today to talk about snare drums, snare drum tuning, and some tips to you. Stay tuned. So today I want to talk to you about snare drum tuning, some tips to you. It's very difficult as a drum brand owner to speak about these kind of things because everything is so relative. It depends on the drummer, on the acoustics, on the snare drum, on the head. So it's very difficult to me because people ask me a lot to make tuning videos, especially here in Portugal. People ask me to make some tuning videos, some tips. And I know that people struggle a bit with that. So I'm making this video. I don't want to be really boring to you, but I want to give you some tips about this. So starting, I have here a 14-inch shell. It's a maple shell with the outer elm veneer. And I want to talk to you about to make this in parts so you can understand well what I'll be explaining to you. So a 14-inch shell, let's start about talking about diameter. There's a standard in diameter in 14-inch shells that most brands use. Our shells are a little bit on the downsize side, so the heads can fit. And this is a very important thing. When you put the head on top of a shell, the head must drop like a glove, like pa, right? So it doesn't, if it goes like this, or you have to put tension on it to fit, that thing for me is not cool. It's not right. So if it's wrong, you have to make it happen. When we make a shell, we started to put it even. Even is flat. Then we think about the edges and the sound. So I think this way. I imagine I know the material I'm going to use. I know how hard or how soft it is and what edges will work better. But to make that happen, I must be sure that the drum heads will fit properly. So talking about heads, there's a big difference between them because Evans has the level 360 technology that makes the head sit more on the outside and fit better on the shell. So I'll show you. So this is a Evans head, a G1 coated. If you can see, it will drop like this. And then it has this. Okay, so it will fit perfectly. If I got a Remo head, I got a black Sweat Emperor, you see it will fit perfect, but doesn't have that small gap, but it's fitting perfect. I can feel the edge all over the head. So this is the difference between these two heads. I'm not saying this is wrong. This is all right, but it's wrong if you put the head and it goes like this, and you have to make it fit. And then you think it's normal, the head, when you giving tension, to make those claps like pa, 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 pa. And people, I've saw people putting both feet on top of a bass drum head to make it fit. It's not because it's better for the head. Of course, a stretch head is better. I never played new heads on a show. I always played head home or at a rehearsal room, and then I will play it used because I know they will be more sealed and better. But this is not wrong. This is a difference between Remo and Evans heads. Evans certainly knew this thing I'm talking to you about and make this technology so the heads can fit every single drum and have a gap. So this is the difference between the two heads. They are both amazing, but it's different, right? So I'm talking to you about head fitting. If the head must settle regularly and naturally on top of the shell. So now I'm going to talk to you about bearing edges. I'm not telling you the secrets about bearing edge because we use different bearing edges on top and bottom. We use different bearing edges depending on the shell hardness, on the shell thickness, and those are secrets, of course. But I'm showing you now what I do in terms of putting the head, tensioning it up, and speaking a little bit about tuning. So right now I will assemble this snare drum for you and talking to you about a very important thing that I use for years, that you should use, and also the resonant head that is very important. I will start assembling this drum. This will be the front part. I haven't put the badge on it yet, but it will be like this. I put the hoop on top, okay? And I'll start putting the tension rods by hand, like this. Now it comes the thing that I use, that I think every drummer should use, but that's my opinion, please don't spank me. This is my opinion, and I believe it will help a lot of people to tune their drums using 2 drum keys. Same drum key, same weight, it's the same equal drum key. These are Evans keys that are very heavy, and they have a magnetic inside, so you cannot lose the head all the time. So I'll start making this like this, just for the tension rods reach the hoop. Just touching softly the hoop. Okay, so now I will do this as I do every single day, not thinking I'm making a video so you can watch. Look at my hands. You didn't hear any single black, thwack, thwack. That's the thing, that the head is getting tension evenly across the edge without anything making it or interrupting it, okay? So another thing I just remembered is that our edges are so smooth. We sand them till 1500 grit and put in oil on it. So that's very important, because I still own a drum shop, even though I don't work most brands as I did in the past, but I've opened like thousands of boxes of drums from every single brand. And most drums had the edges very harsh. So when the head is settling down, that don't help the head to go with tension and be soft on the edges, right? If it's arch, so we sand them till 1500 grit, we put in a little oil, it's so smooth like baby skin, right? So first head, top, tight, okay? Resonant head. It's an Evans AZ300. Look, like a glove. Same thing. First thing you can see if there's a mistake on the snare beds or on the edge, since the resonant head is so thin, is when you put a little bit of tension on it, you see some wrinkles. Some drum heads, since this is such a thin head, some drum heads have defects. They are not perfect, they came crushed. But mostly this is a good way to see if there is small wrinkle anywhere. So as you can see, this head is super soft still and has no wrinkles anywhere. So now, let me tell you about this. This will make people crazy, I know. For me, on snare drums, the resonant head, it's not tunable.
One long angry line later.
Resonant head is not tunable because it's so thin. It's here to make the snare wires go super slippery, so you don't have those kind of buzzes and all of that. If you know that if you have a snare drum with the snare wire assembled, if you take tension from the snare side head, you will notice more buzz and more buzz. So for me, I will always, in any tuning I do on the batter head, I always do the same tuning on the resonant head that is tight. Not tight to break, but tight enough to make the snare wires sing in a good way. If the snare beds are perfect, if the edges are perfect, if the head fits. The snare wires will have a good response if you have the resonant head tight. So that's my thing. If I try to use a low tuning on or medium tuning or any tuning on the top head, the batter head, I don't move any single tension rod on the resonant head. So now you can spank me. This is my way. I do it like this. It's super high, super good to play right now. The top head is different. As you can notice, these are minor changes using 2 drum keys. And why I still want to talk to you about using 2 drum keys. I will explain you like this. If you use 1 drum key, the thing that will happen is that when you put tension on this tension rod, the head will go a little bit to this side. And when you make the other side, the head will not move from the center to this side, will move from this side to the center. And if you use 2 drum keys, the tension on the head will be even and more easy for you than tune it the way you want. So it's a starting point, right? So using 2 drum keys, the tension will go from the center to the sides like this. And will be even across the bearing edge. So that's why I use 2 drum keys, because the starting point to start tuning a drum will be much more easier than you starting with 1 drum key here, pulling tension from the center to here, and then it's not centered for the other side. You understand that? So that's my way of seeing things. You cannot agree, and that's okay. I love to discuss these kind of things. I love drums, so it's cool just to make this. I believe that 2 drum keys are a good secret, are good ways to start a tuning point, right? I will then assemble the snare wires. If you want, I will make it right now. Let's do it, okay? I will show you if you have time. It's a super big video, I know, but maybe you have the patience to see me and watch me. So when I put a snare wire on, I always do 2 things. Let's imagine this is a used snare drum. I always take tension out of the throw off because it's tension from the previous snare wire that was on the snare drum. I take tension off, and then I will start from the butt end part. So I'll do this. I hope that this camera will show you. I'm using pure sound wires. Stock, these are good wires. Pure sound for some time had bad like, they were like wire cutting the heads. These are the best ones, not very harsh, they are soft. So I'll make this putting the same cord extension on both sides. Okay, here, same cord extension, almost the same. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit more. So these 2 like this. Then I make it pass from the inside of the butt end and make it leave on the outside like this. See? Okay? So I see the difference between the 2. I don't want it to be the same on both sides yet. I want it to keep it a little bit further. So when I put tension on the other side, it will automatically be centered. So I'll put like this. I put my finger over here on top of the snare wires and tension with the drum key. Okay, we're done on the side. Let's do the other side. Passing the wires like this. I don't advise at all using plastic straps. I don't like them. They choke the snare wire. So if you have them, take them off. Same thing as the other side, passing through the inside, leaving on the outside. Now what I do is that with my nails on the plate, I put it a little bit for this side, secure it by hands, tension it up with the drum key. It's done. Okay? Back. Sorry, I'm not the best guy at making videos. I make videos since 2009, but I'm not the best one. So now, since the head is settling down, I will put more tension on the resonant head, a little bit more. Okay, tight. So I need to put tension on this side. A little bit more tension on the pattern head. Tight on it, okay? Look. Sounds great. So as you can see, starting out with 2 drum keys makes me have a point where I can know the head is even, and I can have a start point to start tuning by hand. But it's minor tunings, because if you use the 2 drum keys, the head will be centered if the shell is perfect, if it's round, if it's flat, if the edges are okay. If everything is okay, tuning a drum will be easy. On my drumming life, I have the opportunity and the happiness of playing great drum brands. And the immediate thing I've noticed is that when a good drum band, a great drum brand uses great techniques, great edges, great everything, tuning will be a breeze. It doesn't have to be difficult. So, of course, this is a great story to tell you. For many years, it's 14 years that I have the drum shop. I had many people going to my shop telling me, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There is so many overtones everywhere on my snare drum. You need to help me. Okay, so bring the snare drum. And when I saw the snare drum head of the customer, it was all beaten, not on the center, but on off center. So when it's off center, the overtones came easily, right? So this is a great story, because it's not easy to tell someone, look, you're using the wrong technique. You should be beating on the center to have less overtones. But sometimes you have to tell him. I had people that get it like, oh, you're talking to me. I'm a drummer for 50 years. Now you're telling me that to get less overtones, I have to beat on the center. I have to tell the truth, right? So beating on the center, have a great technique, using the right drumsticks for you, the right tip. There are so many relative things that it's difficult to make a video like this to work. But I truly believe that if you play it on the snare drum centered, you have a great edge, a great tuning, everything is okay, your snare drum will sound amazing. So these are few things, because drums, drums are difficult. I had many customers giving up of drums because it's difficult. People that go 1 year after telling me, you want to get the drums back. So why do you want to get the drums back to me? I need to change. And I was feeling that they are giving up. This is a difficult instrument. Drummers are super special people, because it's not one instrument. It's a snare drum that is one instrument. Each tom is an instrument. The bass drum is an instrument. Each cymbal is an instrument. So to make it cohesive, to make it sound good, It's so difficult. So that's why some people give up this instrument because they are not willing to give time, to give effort, to give hours, days, years, months, everything to try to get a good sound, a good technique. And of course, I will tell you this, 60% of a good drum sound is the drummer. Because on my shop, I was sit down on my desk and people enter the shop and I'll go, good afternoon, how are you? Can I try those drums? And people, and I say, yes, you can try it. People would sit, and then I was sitting on my desk and thinking, whoa, I need to tune those drums. But wait, I've tuned them a couple of days ago. Why are they sounding so bad? Or not so good? Then that people will go away. And then will appear another drummer. Maybe a drummer that has more years, one of my artists, for instance. And Luis, can I try those drums? Yeah, sure. And the same day. And the guy would sit and the drums would sound like $1 million. So this is something I want to tell you, that 60% of a good drum sound is a drummer. Some drummers can take amazing sound from anything, even beating on a table, because they have sound on their hands. So a good instrument makes them go like $1 million guy, drummer, amazing drummer, because they have great hands and a great instrument. So this is why drums are difficult. This is why I love drums because of this, because they are difficult. I love a good challenge. I challenge myself to make drums, you know. So I hope this video will help you out a little bit to help you out on the knowledge about the drums and the snare drums and the tuning. Use 2 drum keys, please. This will help you out a lot. And I hope I can make a video about toms very soon, because toms are very difficult. We have to think about note intervals. We have to make it sound even across the several toms, right? A snare drum is a snare drum, bass drum is a bass drum, but toms are different, so are difficult to get that sound. So I will talk to you about note intervals, how to tune them, how I do tuning on them, and I will give you another tip to finalize my video, because you will be tired of me, of course. I always use on snare drums single ply heads, and as thin as I can. The Ambassador coated, the Evans G1, everything that is, look, they are calling me out. The thinnest heads are the best heads. Even if you have to put a little muffling or use a dot, you have to use thin heads so they can settle better on the drum, because a thick single ply head will need much more tension on a higher tuning than a thin head. You understand that? A thin head will be flat much more easier than a thicker head. So people think that thicker heads are better for the overtones, and that's wrong, because they need much more tension. You have to use thin heads. You can use a thin head with a dot, like a controlled sound from Remo, or a power center reverse dot from Evans. Those are great heads if you beat harder, but always use single ply heads. If you need a little bit of gel, use it. If you need any kind of muffling, use it. But using the 2 drum keys, a single ply head, a great drum, it's good. Okay, so I'll not bore you more. Happy New Year. Have a great 2024, okay? Bye-bye.